Hello, everybody. I thought there was a trailer playing, but I was kicked out shortly, so I don't know. Are we back all on track? Everybody's there? Okay, good. My goodness, technical things in the age of online meetings. Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Off. I'm from DocFest Munich. I'm head of Africa at the International Documentary Film Festival Munich in Germany, and also programmer and curator for the overall program. We have a long history of partnership with the Encounters Documentary Film Festival, and every year present a film out of our DocFest program. And I'm very happy that this year we present Among Us Women by Sarah Noah BOZENHARDT and Daniel ABATE. So, and I just now want to introduce the filmmakers to you and the film, but before I'll do that, I wanted to say that this event or this case study is created as a collaborative or as a interactive workshop more than a panel discussion. So everybody who wants to take part in this exercise on who is now on Facebook should sign up on Zoom to join us, so we can get into a discussion and exchange with each other on collaborative filmmaking. Okay, so yeah, we are very happy that we showed this film Among Us Women at DocFest, and we already have a long history also with that film. It was pitched already in 2017 at the Doc Forum and won the pitch award of the House of Documentary Film. And yeah, now I want to introduce you the filmmakers and also the producer who joined us. So first of all, welcome with me, BOZENHARDT. Hello, Sarah. Can you hear us?
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for joining.
Great. Sarah Noah was born in Freiburg in Germany. She grew up in Ethiopia. She studied film and video and integrated media at the Emily Carr University of Art and Design in Vancouver. And in 2016 started documentary directing at the Film University Babelsberg Konrad Wolfs in Potsdam in Germany. And then we have Daniel. Daniel, say hi to us. Are you there? We can't hear you. Please unmute.
Sorry, do you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello, Daniel. From where are you joining us today?
Hey, great. I'm joining you from Ethiopia, from Addis. I'm happy to meet you guys.
Nice. Daniel, you were born in the village of Mengendi, also where the film Among Us Women is set in Ethiopia. As a boy, you were sent to Addis Ababa by your parents, and you grew up in the capital city of Ethiopia. There, it was also where you met the parents of Sarah Noah, and also became friends or siblings with Sarah Noah. You started directing at the Blue Nile Film and Television Academy in Addis Ababa, directing, and you already did a few projects on film directing, production management with big productions. And you and Sarah, you did a short film together, so you already had some experience in collaborating with each other. Together, you researched for years on the film of Among Us Women. So now we come to Sonja KILBERTUS, the producer. Say hi to us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Big screen. You are joining us from Switzerland today, from Bern. This is really international get together here. Sonja studied film production and cinematography at the Film Academy in Vienna. And she already has an extensive production career across fiction and documentary films. So she has already made a lot of films. And yeah, she also joined the project very early, in an early stage already, also in 2017. And yeah, you three guys are working time now already. And yeah, your company is called Evolution Film, not to forget. So, and Sonja, Daniel, and Sarah, they put together a really great interactive workshop on the work they did with Among Us Women, to share with us what it means to collaborate in filmmaking in in communities where there are filmmakers from the north, or filmmakers who are not out of this community. So this will be very interesting for us. Maybe for a beginning, and to get a little bit of an idea and to get the look and feel for the film, we thought we show the trailer. So let me share. Now it's not working again. Desktop. Let me share the trailer. Oops, sorry. Here we go. And
ለአምቡላንስ ደውለናል፣ አሳውቀናል። ግን ስንደውል ነዳጅ አልቋል ነው የሚባለው። ከቤታቸው ቢወርዱ እኮ ይሻላል። እቤት ነው ያለሽ? እና በምን ምክንያት ነው ቤት የወለድሽው?
okay, so we are back, and I hand over to Sonja now.
Okay. Yes, thanks again for having us and to be with you all in virtual South Africa together. It's a pleasure. I would like to share like a few facts about the production with you. I'm also going to show you this slide. Okay, so Among Us Women, we worked on it for about 6 years together. The budget of the film is around 410,000 euros. We work together with two Ethiopian production companies, East Africa Film Production and Efriye Gela Films, with Hiwot Admazo Gitane and Beza Helulema. And there's also going to be an impact campaign that will start in Ethiopia in some time. We were there, or the crew was there shooting 4 times, and they stayed all together 9 months in the village of Megendi over the time span of 2 years. And the funding for this film came mainly from Germany. A little bit of money came from Switzerland as well. I will also show you later the press kit and send you a link so you can also look up all the information yourself there. We had a premiere at DOK Leipzig in the international competition last October and received an honorable mention for it. And the festival history, we just won, or our great cinematographer Bernardo Pinto, she just won an award for best cinematography in India and Mumbai International Film Festival. And yeah, and we also were in Zanzibar, and yeah, we were opening film in Addis Ababa Film Festival, which was a very big experience for us with all the participants there. So, and yeah, of course, DOK.NETWORK Munich, we have a long relationship with the festival. And we have, as we said, like a very international crew from 3 continents. I want to show you who worked on this film. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? Yes. So yeah. This is our crew. Our composer, for example, from Germany. Then we had a lot of staff accompanying the team in Ethiopia. Our co-producer, our post-producers. And later I will send you the link and you can also have a look at this yourself. So just for us to get an impression, it would be also very nice if we could see you, if you could show your faces, and if we could have maybe a hands up of who of you has seen the film and who hasn't. It takes some time to see people.
Difficult, eh?
Okay.
Okay, so we make gallery.
Okay, if you already raised your hand, you need to raise it again because it takes time to. Oh yeah, it's also the digital way of raising your hand.
Yeah, raise the digital hand. That's good. That's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And we would also like, you heard now something about us, and we would also love you to have a very quick introduction of yourself, if that's possible. And I would like you to say your first name, your last name, your profession, the country where you are in at the moment, and one word that represents what appealed to you about this workshop. And one word, like one value that's important to you in your work. And because it sounds complicated, and also one feeling, how you feel at the moment. And Daniel and Sarah will demonstrate so that you kind of know what we are looking for.
Yes, I will start. So I'm Sarah Noah BOZENHARDT. I'm a director and writer. I'm based between Germany and Ethiopia. This has been like this my whole life. And I love collaboration. I think this is like an essential part of my work. And I love intimacy. And I'm curious how this is going to work today. So Dani, I give it to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to meet you guys.
Great to meet you.
I think Daniel is frozen. So I'll say also, I'm Sonja KILBERTUS, producer, international relations, mutuality, and excited. And just keep it in this Telegram style. And this is also the first exercise about mutuality, so that we share time. We all try to be short in our time so that everyone can say a few words. And maybe we can start. I can call names because otherwise it might not work. So Anna Castagnosa.
Yes, hello. My name is Amel Bouzid, and I'm producer based in Brussels. Yeah, collaboration and documentary, and yeah, themes that matter to society, I would say.
Thank you. Anna?
Yes, hello. So I'm Ana Castagnosa. I'm a documentary films producer based in Spain. And I was interested in this case study / workshop because I find I am also the deputy head of the Impact Days at the Human Rights Film Festival in Geneva. And I find very important to understand how to collaborate between different cultures, different countries, and get to a common point of understanding when producing documentary films, especially when we are talking about social issues.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Konstantin. Right now I'm in Zurich, Switzerland. I'm working for Mira Film as an assistant project assistant actually. And so far I'm not so experienced, so I'm very excited about this workshop. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
Thank you. Cheryl?
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm South African, but I'm currently based in Bath in the UK. Also, I'm just interested in the collaboration between on a sort of international scale. I'm curious to see how it works. I think keywords for me are trust, and I'm just curious as well, curious to how this works out. Everything. Thanks.
Thank you. I see Liani.
Hi everyone, I'm Liani Maastorp. I am a lecturer at the University of Cape Town in the Centre for Film and Media Studies, and I'm passionate about African documentary film and particularly about impact. And I was really struck by this film, and I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. And something that's very important to me is telling own stories.
Thank you. Emily?
Hello, my name is Emily Hopf. I'm in Switzerland as well, in Bern. I'm the intern at Mira Film, where Sonja and Stephanie works. I have no experience in filmmaking myself, but I'm very interested in how it works with collaborations because it's a thing that really appeals to me. So yeah, I'm just curious to see how that looks in practice.
Thank you. So I think we have everyone who has the camera on. I think it's good. So we can continue with the next step. So Daniel.
Perfect. So Dani and I will take over. We want to explain to you a little bit how we approached making this film at the very beginning and how we defined as a team of directors the values that would be most important for us throughout this production of 6 years. So it kind of starts with a little story that Daniel is going to tell you about where it all started.
Hello, everyone, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. There is a very heavy rain right now here in Addis. That's why my connection was interrupted, and I'm very sorry for that. Yeah, so our journey started from Addis to Magandi, where I was born, and that was because since I met Sarah Noah and her family many years ago, and I've got a chance to live with her and to get to know and to even became siblings. And then there was the other way around. I have to introduce her my childhood and also my parents. That's how it started. So we traveled to Magandi around 2016, I think. And I introduced her with my parents, and my mom took us to the countryside, also where I was born, because they have been moved from the village to the city. Yeah, then that's how it started, the whole collaboration.
Yes, so in a way, this connection between our families is something that we soon realized was going to carry us through the entire process of making this film. So it started really small. It was just me, my Daniel, and our parents who wanted to get to know each other and be with each other. So our first value that we defined was the connections to family. And that's something that we wanted to carry through the production and to respect in all of the stages. So even if we got a production company and we got funds and all of this, this wasn't supposed to touch the base of the project, which was our families working together. And the second value is also something that Daniel can maybe explain, that once we came back, it was also a process to get to know where he came from again.
Yeah, I mean, throughout time, we got to learn also in those process, like staying there long time, spending time with them, and we learned a lot. The way how they speak, they communicate, and the way how they respect people. Also, those interactions between us and them. I mean, also for me, I left the countryside when I was so little, so it was also for me a learning process to know the culture and so on. So, in the meantime, me and Sarah Noah, we learn, and we have a very huge value of knowing the people and respect, and not to pass those boundaries, and really acknowledging what they are doing and so on. So that's I think one of our very huge value to continue and to do to finish the project.
Yes, so we had this value of respect of each other and the culture that we were entering, which was our second huge element that we wanted to carry through every step of the filmmaking process. And then something already became clearer in the research, because Dani and I went back to Megendi back and forth for over 1.5 years without ever turning on the camera. And it became really important to us that we invest time. And we realized that the more time we spend in Megendi and with the women in Megendi, the more we understood the way that their lives work, but also they understood who we were and why we were there, what we wanted to do. And this was an element that I, in particular, because I was the one looking for production companies and communicating a lot, like in the European context, I had to be really, there was no negotiation for me in that part, that we needed a much longer shooting time than is usually allocated to documentary films. And so we had this time value as number 3, and this made it possible to keep consistent relationships with each other in the team, but with the village and the participants as well. And that's the 3 values that we defined. And then we started building our crew. So we started to look for people to join us. And we always had these values to communicate to them and to see if the people who join us on our team share our values, had maybe similar values, or respected our approach of doing things, and if they also brought in values that we could learn from. So this always kind of defined our communication in the setup of the film. And this is something that we would like to pass on in these kind of workshops, to recommend, to find out and define what are your personal values as a person, as a professional, to align them with your team, and to really think about what are the consequences of these values on the production structure. So some things will take time and they will take money, and they need to be scheduled or budgeted ahead of time. So this is where our first group exercise starts. So I'll pass it over to Sonja.
Yes, so we would like to send you in groups of 3 to work together through 3 questions. What are my core 3 values in my role? So if you're a storyteller, festival programmer, director, whatever, what are my core values connected to my work? Then the second one is, what are the core values of my project, the film that I'm working on, the festival that I'm programming? And then the third question is, do I know the values of my core collaborators? And if you don't know them, like, make a guess, how could I find out what their values are? This is exercise 1, and you just, maybe you take some time first yourself to answer them for yourself in a silent part of the exercise, and then you share with each other about it. And then after 9 minutes, we will get you back into the main room. And if you don't get finished, don't worry about it. It's not about completion, it's just about getting started with the process. And I'll send you here in the chat, I send you the 3 questions so that you don't forget them. And I'm also sending you now a PDF with values. It's a definition, I'll just see if that works. Yeah, it's sending now. It's a definition of values, how they are used in nonviolent communication. They are by an American trainer called Robert Gonzalez. So you can just look at this sheet and go through it and maybe just see what resonates with you when you ask yourself this question. Any questions before you can start the exercise?
Okay. How is everybody? Sonja, Sarah, Noah, Daniel, you want to?
Sorry, yeah, now we were being back quickly. So Sarah, Noah, would you like to, is she here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Are you ready to continue?
Yes, I'm ready. So we had a great session. I hope it felt similar for you. So Leka, you were cut off at the end. Please feel free to join us as well in this room if you're not too uncomfortable turning your camera. You had a lot of great things to say. So thank you for doing this exercise with us. Another thing we wanted to address is that throughout making this film, 6 years passed. So it's 6 years of our lives, and hopefully all of us grow in such a time span, and we learn, we make mistakes and we learn from them. So part of our process was to always make space for renegotiating how we wanted to work together, what felt good for us, and how, we keep aware of each other's feelings in certain phases of the production as well. And we wanted all 3 of me, Sonja, and Dani to just briefly share with you 3 examples of where we realized that we either identified a problem in ourselves or in our communication with one another, or we had blind spots, and we how did we work with that? How did we move forward, and how did we readjust? So since I'm already talking, I will start. At the beginning of the process of making this film, I felt very much like I had to be, and in many ways I was, like a bridge between these 2 main production countries. So I'm born in Germany and I speak German. My parents are German, but I moved to Ethiopia when I was a little child, and I grew up in Ethiopia, and I became a woman in Ethiopia, and it's a huge part of who I am as a person, but also as a filmmaker. And so at the beginning, I felt like I always had to translate. So there was these 2 cultures, and it was my responsibility to make sure that everything went super smoothly, and the one side would always understand the other without conflicts. This was my idea of how it should work and how I kind of defined my role. So what was the result is that I got really caught in between these different perspectives, and I got caught in conflicts that were not mine. They were not mine to solve also. And it also took away, like the way that I was acting within that was also taking away from people's own agency, because I was speaking for them in a way. So in the process, I learned that I needed to like step back and to accept that there were going to be conflicts, and I wasn't going to erase that by trying to translate, like culturally translate, and to let everybody in our team at all times speak for themselves and address and solve their own issues with one another. So this was a huge learning for me. And once I did that, things really opened up, because yes, conflict happened, and like people needed to communicate with one another, and they got to know each other better, and they got to form their own bonds. And I was much less psychologically exhausted as well. So this is maybe my example, and I will pass it on to Dani.
Hello. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I would explain you or tell you some of my experience. I mean, in the beginning, we wanted always to as less as possible of the team members, the crew, because it's always not easy to introduce new people, also for the women in the village. So I would say all of us, we had a lot of responsibilities, which is not very specified. We took a lot of tasks every day, and this of course brought a lot of load on me. Like we have to communicate with Saranoa, plan for tomorrow, and with Bernarda about the shooting tomorrow, and communicating it to the protagonists, and after that negotiating payments for locations, financial and logistics. Like we drive, I am the driver, and yeah, and also financial report, like keeping the daily expenses, and yeah, there were a lot, and this brought some problems or conflicts. For example, that on some of my duties or responsibilities on daily basis, I were not able to fulfill everything. So, and then after many things happened, I would say challenging myself a lot. It could affect the work also at some point. Then I needed to communicate with Sonia. This was a very good decision. And yeah, so Sonia, she could act that she hired assistant production manager. Then he really took over many of my daily tasks, my duties. Then I could focus on a more things where I am good at. And of course, the load came less than I were good. Yeah, I think this is what I could share of my experience.
Yes, and my experience is that for me, starting the co-production and starting to work with crew from Addis Ababa, from Bahia, I came with my expectations of what is the role of a production manager or a translator. And I had to realize that there's a lot of things I have to consider. For example, in Germany or Switzerland, I mean, it's very common that people work for free because it's art, it's passion, it's something you really want to do, but it's a very different life reality that my crew members in Ethiopia are in, so I cannot expect the same. And also here, for example, we pay cinematographer per day or we pay translators per week, but we had to realize like, okay, they need kind of a very secure income in order so that they can be able to commit for such a long time. So I was switching from like weekly based contracts to very long time contracts, and we had to negotiate what can we afford and what are the needs of the specific person and how can this person make a living so that this person is able to join our production. So it's a lot about, for me, about adapting and having the awareness that my crew members there live in a totally different life reality than me. So what we recommend for any production where you work with people who are not in the same culture like you is to keep very alert and to keep checking in with each other, asking, and that you create spaces where you can talk to each other and where you can reflect. For example, we had a weekly show fix where we met like once a week digitally, and we always also offered space that everyone can share if there's something not nice, or in general, just being open for feedback. And also it's very important, like from pitch to distribution. So still in distribution, we try to keep our values in mind and to keep spaces that we can talk about stuff that maybe triggers us or that we are not okay with. And I mean, we are aware that we're running over time because we also started, I think, 15 minutes late. I think if anyone has to leave now on the spot, there's also a chance to quickly say goodbye now or to check out. And if you can stay, we're happy. We would send you in the next short group exercise in the same groups that you were before. And I'll give you some instructions, but I just wanted to check if anyone has to leave now.
Yeah, I was just discussing with Taryn if we should do the group exercise now, but or if we should have the final plenum discussion, because and then the final discussion will also take. Would love to hear exercise. Okay, people want to have more exercises. Yeah,
maybe let's just do it, and if people need to leave, feel free to contact us as well. We have our website, amongaswomen.de, so you can also contact us with more questions, but let's hope that people can stay for another 10 minutes or so. And
okay, so I put on the same
yes.
groups
same
again.
groups, and I just want to give some instructions. I will also send it again in the chat. So I mean, either you can finish the exercise from before if you haven't had time to finish, or you can continue with the next questions. And the next questions are like, how do these values show up in my productions structure already currently? Is there something that would need some alignment after getting more awareness now and discussing with my colleagues? And are there any industry expectations or industry traditions that need to be questioned? Is it clear for you what the exercise is expecting from you?
Yeah, let's just go in the groups. We will figure it out.
Okay, see you in about 7 minutes, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is everybody back now? Hello? We lost some people.
Great, so welcome back to the plenum. It would be very valuable for everybody if you can, from each group or whoever wants to share, like present in a as brief as possible way, kind of like what new insights you gained, or also if you already have structures or ways for your production, how you bring your values in, you share it with the others so that everyone can learn from each other. The floor is open.
So do we just start with room 1, like with the different rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Room 1 would be Amel Buzit and Antje von Moos. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it properly. Are you still there?
To really discuss it in this way, so I'm going to improvise because we just shared the values each of us think that are important in their product, and yeah, I was actually speaking about the fact that it's very hard to involve people in your values as long as you present a different perspective from the one they are looking for. Just to be precise, I'm producing a project about Second World War concentration camp story, but happening from a Belgian side, involving German political opponents. But the German producers and broadcasters didn't find it enough to get involved. So presenting in another perspective, it's not sometimes something that make people jump in a project. So yeah, this is so creativity and freedom is not sometimes values that can be shared with other people in the business when it comes to perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's an ongoing battle. So there is no solution yet. I am ready to share with this regard.
Okay.
Thank you. So we go to room 2 and chat Fabienne Steiner und Hannah Getachew. Sorry, are you still here? Does one of you want to say something?
Fabienne, do you want to say something?
Please do.
No, I'm saying, do you want to say something? No, okay. Yeah, we tried to keep to the structure of the questions, but we initially started discussing our values, and trust, caring were very much part of those. We came from it from different perspectives. Hannah is an interpreter transcribing, her role and what the values meant to her, of the project meant to her as she transcribed the footage. I looked at it from a point of view in how I worked with the team. And I think what I took away really from overall all the questions also was just to communicate and to check in. I think it's really nice, and places for reflection. And we were also talking about the values in terms of industry standards as in documentary filmmaking. Fabienne was talking about how one can change the nature of what you're saying. It's quite manipulative as a filmmaker if we're changing language and editing, and how our core values we need to remember those and be mindful of, either be in transcription or editing process, how we interpret what, and what we say. So values were quite important there, if you knew those up front. Fabienne, do you want to add in anything else? Yeah, I think it was
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting chat for me anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It sounds like authenticity or responsibility, that this is a value you all kind of agree on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we move to room 3. Julia, Mandisa, and someone from MIRA.
Hi, I'm Julia from University of Cape Town in South Africa. And so it was just two of us in the room because Mandisa had to leave. But yeah, so for me, it was quite useful as an educator to think about having more explicit conversations about values and sort of highlighting those in terms of with students, but also with making sure that happens in student production teams, because I teach film. And also thinking about how those kind of conversations might happen with colleagues. And then the two of us also had a very insightful conversation, I think, about industry expectations, which was quite useful for me because I'm working on an ethics in documentary filmmaking research project and trying to bring that perspectives from the global south. So it was interesting to speak with my partner. She's coming from Switzerland, so from the global north. It was very interesting. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great, and then we go to room 4, Daniel and Liani.
I'm tempted to defer to Daniel. But he's not unmuting, so I'm stuck with the microphone. In the first exercise, I was alone in the room for quite a long time before anyone popped in, but that gave me a chance to read through all of the values on the PDF. Thank you so much for sharing that, and to think really carefully about what my values are. And something that I realized is that it's possible to have core values that run across your personal life, the work that you do, and your engagement. So for me, that run across, yes, personal life, family, but also teaching and also engaging with filmmakers, like industry engagement. And it was this wonderful light bulb moment to realize that those values can run across all of those, the learning environment, production, and your personal life. And then it was very interesting to me to hear from Daniel how the lines of communication were kept open and how there was a repeated, so sort of a revisiting the values throughout production, and that there were certain things that would come up that were perhaps not predictable, but by just spending the time together, which of course is one of the core values, those things can be addressed. And I found that really inspiring.
Okay, thank you very much. Daniel, you want to add something, or should we go to room 5? Maybe to room 5. Palisa, Lebona, Sonja, Taryn.
Hi, hi everyone. My name is Palisa and I'm from South Africa, and I run a film and production company. We first started off with the 3 of us, and then in the last session it was just myself and Sonja. But what was quite interesting was that, you know, when it came to the personal values, 2 really struck across the 3 of us, which was mutual understanding as well as respect, and somehow segued both into the values which you'd want in your project as well as industry expectations. So ultimately, we spoke about, well, in this past session, in terms of industry expectation, we spoke about being aligned with purpose, because at the end of the day, as much as we may come from different backgrounds, different ideas of the world, what is this particular person's purpose? And how do we allow it to feed into the work that we do? And at the same time, because I am a newbie when it comes to nonfiction, in the fiction world, you know, everything is structured, you follow a certain pace, you adhere to schedule. Allowing patience as well as time in the process of documentary, and being aware that we need to have that. And also, you know, I think this is a common thread across the previous rooms, where allowing spaces of openness and collaboration. So those were some of the very important values which really struck out.
Okay, thank you very much. And now our last room, Saranoa, Yetumchali, and Soleka.
Sure. Soleka, do you want to share something?
Hi,
sure.
Julia. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we did speak quite a bit, even though we were cut off at the end, but we spoke, I think what resonated with the three of us is community and inclusion and awareness. I think it's very important as we produce films and as we create this type of content that we have people around us, we have an environment where we feel safe, where we feel protected, where we feel we can express our ideas and our opinions freely. And one of the other values is inclusion. In this day and age, we realize how important it is to be inclusive, to have diverse stories of people who you usually wouldn't see on the screen or in mainstream media. And one thing that's definitely important to me when it comes to inclusion is redirecting and reframing narratives when it comes to Blackness or queerness. Year 2 spoke a lot about queerness and the queer spaces. So I think that's something that's very important to us. Yes, I don't know if Sarah or Year 2 want to continue.
I think you summed it up very, very well from my perspective. Yeah. And it was very inspiring to meet both of you. I think we could have talked for an hour more.
Definitely, definitely.
I enjoyed chatting to you guys too.
Same here.
Great to see you now, you too. Yeah, thank you all very much. I also really enjoyed hearing you shortly now, and also in my group, I got inspired, like what, to hear how other people already use values, even if it's maybe not so conscious, but to hear about the process, it's always very inspiring. So we can learn a lot from each other. So I feel very happy that I met all of you, and even though that it was short, that we could share some lifetime together here in this group. It was very inspiring for me.
Yeah, I feel the same. Thank you. And thank you for taking this time to possibly watch our film, but to be part of this conversation. And yeah, it means a lot to be able to share how we made this film, because there's always like a product at the end, but there's so much work and so much love went into it in the process. And it feels really nice to be able to share that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone who joined today from South Africa, Ethiopia, Switzerland, Germany. And yeah, I think it was a great idea to do it so interactive, although we had a little bit difficulties, but we managed somehow. And yeah, I can only join Saranoa and recommend to watch the film. And I also wanted to congratulate you three, Daniel and Sonja and Saranoa, again for this agree, yes, for this great outcome of your collaboration, with a lot of sweat and tears probably involved, but it was all worth it. And all the best to you for the future and for the film, which is still on the festival run around the world. And I also hope that the Encounters Festival participants can take away something from this film and from this workshop. And yeah, maybe Daniel and Sarah, you want to have a closing statement, maybe tell us what you plan next, or give us something, maybe you go back to Ethiopia and show the film there, or give us a little idea what is coming up in your future.
Danny, maybe you can just share briefly our premiere, I don't know.
Yeah, do you hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we are very happy to share our thoughts and experiences on set and everything. And yeah, I mean, at the moment we are enjoying the festivals all over the world, so we are just on that. I mean, we have different things like with Sonia that we would like to do impact campaigns. Here in Ethiopia, I mean, it was a long process and everyone really wants to have a little bit of space from this. Yeah, lot of work. But then we really got kind of motivated that we would like to work on impact campaign, because here in Ethiopia on our premiere, it was really a beautiful screening we had, and the people have been extremely happy. This really makes us kind of turning point again, like recharging us.
Great.
Yeah, so
all the best for you and good luck for that. I think, yeah, impact campaigns are very important and all worth it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you to Encounters for having us and for making this possible. Thank you so much.